Hello, everyone, and welcome to the We Robot 1010 Los Angeles event from Tesla. I'm Janine Stanley. I'm the Director of Customer Success and Engagement here at IRA, and I'm excited to see everybody here, and particularly the lady that brought this event to us. This is, I believe, our first event that was brought to us by one of our explorers, Connie Ellis. So, hi out there to Connie, and we are going to start here very shortly. I hear that Tesla is fashionably late to many of their events. So joining me tonight is Sydney, our visual interpreter. Hey, Sydney.
Hello, Janine. On screen is black. In the center are circles moving at different speeds, and it goes to someone on
Ladies and gentlemen,
stage.
here, everywhere, online, around the world, outer space, I'm Franz. And on behalf of everybody at Tesla, welcome to We Robot.
He's wearing a black shirt, black pants, and the shirt says We
Just want
Robot.
to thank Warner Brothers for hosting us here. As you know, this is the birthplace of many epic films, many of them depicting a vision of the future. We're here tonight to experience that future that is closer than you think.
He keeps his vision down, looking at a prompt on the bottom of the screen.
And who better than Elon, right, to show us that future? So it looks like Elon's on his way, so let's welcome him here.
He shifts his weight between his feet and starts to walk toward the side of the stage. Now it goes to the front of the studio that says now playing We Robot. Crowd is on the left. A car pulls in from the right, stopping just in front. A humanoid walks through with Elon Musk wearing a helmet and what looks like almost a racing outfit. Elon is dressed in a black jacket, black pants, and a black shirt. The back of his jacket has the We Robot signal. The doors open up in a butterfly motion. He gets into the passenger seat, and the doors shut by themselves. He gets in a sleek car, rounded edges. The full hubcap of the tire is covered, almost making it look like discs. He drives off in the car. It's going through the streets of the studio, passing other EV vehicles. The blinker comes on to make a right turn. Car stops at a stop sign. Makes a right turn down an alley where you can see a deli with a pizza sign lit up in it. Some electric bikes cross their path with the wheels lit up. The headlights of the car expand very far out in almost a rectangle, covering the full street. He makes a left turn down another roadway on the studios. There's a spotlight following the car. You can see a large crowd in front of the stage. The lights pulse in front. He gets out of the butterfly doors of the car, raises his hand above his head, gives a high five to someone who's walking past, approaching the stage. Walking up the stairs, he raises his hands above his head, turns around in a full 360, looking down at the prompter on the bottom of the stage.
Welcome to the We Robot Party. So we have quite a show for you tonight. I think you're gonna like it. As you can see, I just arrived in the Robotaxi, the cyber cab, and there's 20 more where that came from.
He looks over to the car and points towards it.
So they've been traveling. There's no people in them, as you can see. The car's just going by with no people.
The spotlights turn to highlight the car as another Robotaxi pulls up alongside.
Fully autonomous cars here tonight. So you'll see Model Ys and the cyber cab. all driverless. You'll be able to take a ride in the Cybercab. There's no steering wheel or pedals.
All cars are lined up in a single file.
So I hope this goes well. We'll find out. So you see a lot of sci-fi movies where the future is dark and dismal, where it's not a future you want to be in.
Showing slides of the worlds and an
I love
apocalyptic
Blade
world
Runner,
saying
but,
not this.
I don't know if we want that future. I think we want that duster he's wearing, but not the bleak apocalypse. We want to have a fun, exciting future that if you could look in a crystal ball and see the future, you'd be like, yes, I wish I could be there now.
Showing a car with smog piling out of the tailpipe, people waiting in traffic, cramming themselves onto
today, there's a lot
metros.
of kind of pain that we take for granted that we think is normal. Like having to drive around LA in like 3 hours of traffic.
Showing someone
people
trying
that
to
live in
eat
LA,
and
I mean,
drive,
try to
text and
get
drive.
From Pasadena to, El Segundo during rush hour is like you can fly to, another city faster than you can get to crosstown LA.
Shows a city filled with smog.
And you have to drive the whole way. Unless you're in a Tesla, of course. Now, Tesla already does quite well at this, supervised self-driving. So supervised full self-driving is actually working quite well. I'm sure there's people in the crowd, you're using that, yeah? So we'll move from supervised full self-driving to unsupervised full self-driving, where the car, you could fall asleep and wake up at your destination. So, but there's also a challenge for a lot of people that cars cost too much. I mean, when you factor in everything that goes into a car, and the car insurance, and the car payments, and the storage of the car, it's very expensive. So, and you say like, how many hours a week are cars used? Your average passenger car is only used about 10 hours a week out of 168 hours. So the vast majority of the time, cars are just doing nothing. But if they're autonomous, they could be used, 5 times more, maybe 10 times more. So you could actually, for the same car, would have 5 times as much value, maybe 10 times as much value. There's 168 hours in the week, and like I said, only 10 of them are used for driving.
He slightly shrugs his shoulders.
So, and then a bunch of those hours are looking for a parking spot, which is, can be pretty annoying at times. So
looks down at the prompter.
With autonomy, you get your time back. This is a very big deal. So it's not just it'll save lives, like a lot of lives, and prevent injuries. I think we'll see autonomous cars become 10 times safer than a human. I mean, if you think of times past where there used to be an elevator operator in every elevator, but once in a while they get tired and they accidentally shear somebody in half. So now we have automated elevators. You just get in an elevator and you press a button, and you don't even think about it, and it just takes you to the floor. And if you did see an elevator operator with a big relay switch, you'd be like, "That's weird." Now that's how cars will be. And it's not just the lives saved in injuries, but if you think about the cumulative time that people spend in a car, and the time that they will get back, that they can now spend, well, I guess, on their phones, or watching a movie, or doing work, or whatever you want to do. You can think of the car in an autonomous world as being like just a little lounge. You're just sitting in a comfortable little lounge, and you can do whatever you want while you're in this comfortable little lounge. And when you get out, you will be at your destination. So, yeah, it's going to be awesome. So
He nods his head towards the crowd. There are 2 prompters at his level with the photos and the text.
I think the cost of autonomous transport will be so low that you can think of it like individualized mass transit.
Video shows an autonomous car taking 2 children to school.
Of a bus per mile for a city not the ticket price, because that is subsidized, but the average price is about $1 a mile. Whereas the cost of Cybercab, we think probably over time, from the operating cost is probably going to be around 20 cents a mile.
Someone working on a tablet while driving in a Zoom meeting,
and everything
doing
else probably
homework.
ends up being 30 or 40 cents a mile. So yes, and you will be able to buy one.
It's picking people up from the market.
Yes, exactly. We expect the cost to be below $30,000. And I think there'll be an interesting, business model where, like, let's say somebody is an, Uber or Lyft driver today, where they can actually sort of manage a fleet of cars, and sort of manage, 10, 20 cars, and just sort of, take care of them like
Hands over the
shepherd,
audience.
tends their flock. You have your flock of cars, and you're the shepherd, and you take care of your flock of cars. I think that'd be pretty cool. I think it's going to be a glorious future. It's going to be really something special. So, yes, good, all excellent questions. We do expect actually to start fully autonomous, unsupervised FSD in Texas and California next year.
He nods his head towards the crowd.
That's with the Model 3 and Model Y. And then we expect to be in production with the Cybercab, which is really highly optimized for autonomous transport in probably, well, I tend to be a little optimistic with timeframes, but in 2026. So, yeah, before 2027. Let me put it that way.
Camera pans out.
We'll make this vehicle in very high volume, but well before that, you will experience a robotic taxi via the Model 3 and Model Y program, and Model S and X too. But your 3 and Y will achieve unsupervised full self-driving with permission in wherever regulators essentially approve it in the U.S. and then to follow in outside the U.S. So, and Cybertruck too, yes, of course. Sorry, I don't want to yes. All our cars are basically all cars that we make. So let's not get nuanced here. All right, next slide.
He gestures to the slide operator.
So one of the reasons why the computer can be so much better.
It says one robot,
than
a million
person is
lifetimes of
that we
experience.
have
Going through the
millions of
snow,
cars that are
stopping as a
trained,
child crosses or a bike
on
crosses
driving.
the
So
street.
it's like living millions of lives simultaneously and seeing very unusual situations.
Navigating around
that
cars,
a person in their entire
turning and
lifetime would
crooking
not
the
see.
intersection,
But
someone crossing in a wheelchair,
hopefully,
avoiding oncoming traffic, pedestrians
yeah,
crossing in the middle of a highway,
exactly. So
emergency
So
vehicles.
with that amount of training data, it's obviously going to be much better than what a human could be, because you can't live a million lives.
Stopping as cars
And
collide
it's
on the
also-
highway,
It can see in all directions simultaneously.
avoiding a head-on
And
collision.
it doesn't get tired or text or any of those things. So it will naturally be, like I said, 10, 20, 30 times safer than a human, just for all those reasons. And I want to emphasize that the solution that we have is AI and vision. So there's no expensive equipment needed. So the Model 3 and Model Y and S and X that we make today will be capable of full autonomy unsupervised. And that means that our cost of producing the vehicle is low. Now, we are going to actually overspec the computer for the Cybercab. So our AI5 computer will be somewhat overspec'd. And because I think there's actually also an opportunity, sort of like an Amazon Web Services, where if the car is driving for 50 hours a week, there's still over 100 hours left. And there's a potential there to have a massive amount of distributed inference compute, where if you've got, like, say, a fleet of 100 million vehicles and a kilowatt of efficient inference compute, you have 100 gigawatts of compute, which is really quite substantial. And if it's there, you might as well use it. So, yeah, so that I think will make sense. So, all right. So our autonomous future is here. As I said, we've got 50 Teslas driving autonomously.
Looking down at the prompter again.
We're trying to give you a sense of what cities will be like in the future. And when you get in, you'll see, like, it's really quite a wild experience to just be in a car with no steering wheel, no pedals, no controls, and it feels great. And we have enough vehicles here, so everyone should be able to try it out and experience the set that we've built here. It's a very big set, so it's like really, we've used sort of, I don't know, 20, 30 acres or something like that. It's really big. So it goes on, the ride's long. And we set it up to feel like a ride, like a park ride. So it'll be cool.
There was a video showing all the cars driving through the studio lots.
Something we're also doing is, and it's really high time we did this, is inductive charging.
The butterfly doors open.
The Robotaxi has no plug. It just goes over the inductive charger and charges. So
shows the car being cleaned by automated cleaning machines, polishing the screen, vacuuming the seats.
Thanks, guys. I love you too.
The world we want shows a concrete jungle transformed into luscious green trees.
One of the things that, like, is
airports
really
transformed into
how
gardens.
Will this affect the cities that we live in? And when you drive around a city, or when the car drives you around a city, you'll see there's a lot of parking lots. There's parking lots everywhere, parking garages. So what would happen if you have an autonomous world is that you can now turn parking lots into parks. And so we're taking the ing lot out of parking lot. Welcome. So there's a lot of opportunity to create green space in the cities that we live in.
A larger car drives into the streets. It's rectangular in shape with rounded edges, quite larger than the taxi.
Also,
almost the size of a minivan.
What happens if you need a vehicle that is bigger than a Model Y?
Almost looks like a futuristic train carriage. No windshield on the front.
The Robovan. The Robovan is, we're going to make this, and it's going to look like that. Now, can you imagine going down the streets and you see this coming towards you? That'd be sick.
There are multiple people stepping off the Robovan.
So this can carry up to 20 people, and it can also transport goods. So
it has a glass sliding door.
Goods transport within a city, or transport of up to 20 people at a time.
Rows of seats.
So this is gonna
that face each other.
The Robovan is what's gonna solve for high density. So if you want to take a sports team somewhere, or you're looking to really get the cost of travel down to, I don't know, 5-10 cents a mile, then you can use the Robovan. Some people call it the Robovan, but
white interior, lots of light, large windows on the sides and roof.
Cybertruck is we want to change the look of the roads. The future should look like the future. So,
he scratches his head.
Speaking of robots, so everything we've developed for our cars, the batteries, power electronics, the advanced motors, gearboxes, the software, the AI inference computer, it all actually applies to a humanoid robot. So the same techniques it's just a robot with arms and legs instead of a robot with
A
wheels.
line of robots come walking out from the side of the
We've made
stage
a lot of progress
in slow steps but fluid
with
movements.
Optimus. And as you can see, we started it with someone in a robot suit.
Their hands move at their side as
sort of
ours
that.
do when we walk.
And then we've progressed dramatically year after year. So if you extrapolate this, you're really going to have something spectacular, something that anyone
They're walking
could own.
past the crowd.
So you could have your own personal R2-D2 C-3PO. And
They're in a single file moving through the people.
at scale, this would cost something like
Everyone's phones are out,
Probably
recording.
less than a car, is my prediction, long term. Now, it'll take us a minute to get to the long term, but
It shows a robot in the house
fundamentally at scale,
picking up
the
packages,
Optimus robot, you should be able to buy an Optimus robot
watering plants,
for, I think, probably $20,000 to $30,000.
while a family is able to enjoy their time,
And what can it do? It'll be able to do anything you want. So it can
playing board games,
be a teacher, babysit your kids. It can walk your dog, mow your lawn,
preparing
get the
beverages.
groceries, just be your friend, serve drinks, whatever you can think of, it will do. And yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Getting the groceries out of an autonomous car.
I think this will be the biggest product ever of any kind. Yeah. Because I think everyone, of the 8 billion people of Earth, I think everyone's going to want their Optimus buddy. And there's going to be maybe 2. And then they'll be producing products and services. I predict, actually, provided we address risks of digital superintelligence, 80% probability of a good outcome. Look on the bright side. The cup is 80% full. The cost of products and services will decline dramatically, and basically anyone will be able to have any products and services they want. It will be an age of abundance, the likes of which people have almost no one has envisioned. It'll be something special. So, now one of the things we wanted to show tonight was that Optimus is not a canned video. It's not walled off. The Optimus robots will walk among you.
He points towards the crowd.
Please be nice to the Optimus robots. So you'll be able to walk right up to them, and they'll serve drinks at the bar. And you'll directly, I mean, that's just, it's a wild experience just to have humanoid robots, and they're there, you're just in front of you. So, yeah, with that, let's party.
He points to the crowd, pointing to the gazebo.
I love you guys too. If you look at that gazebo over there, let's get the party started.
It goes to a gazebo where it shows all of the robots doing the robots. Lights change as if they're in a club. Their movements become a little bit more fluid and not so robotic. It pans out to the crowd where you can see everyone's cell phones up recording. The camera starts moving back towards the gazebo and then goes to the street. You can see people walking in front of the camera. Goes back to the gazebo where the group of humanoid robots, all 5 of them, are dancing in the gazebo. There's a disco ball. They start doing more disco moves. Movements are becoming more natural, not so stiff. Everyone's arms up in the air, trying to get a shot of the robots. Pans out to see the full studio and the audience, where you can see the Robotaxis driving down the street. The line of Robotaxis start turning and coming down the street in the direction of the camera. The lights go from left to right on the front bumper in a single line, not broken up into two. The robots stop dancing. The shades on the gazebo lower. And the Optimus robots are no longer in view. As it pans out, you can see the Robovan and the taxi parked in front of the stage facing each other. Camera starts to pan to the street where more Robotaxis are filing in. People walking around the set. And the We Robot logo is on screen with the black background and what looks like a camera lens with circles spinning in slightly different speeds. Then goes back to more of that light show at the beginning, as if you're passing through the lens of a camera, through each layer of its mechanisms, moving faster in this tunnel. Back out to the street where you can see all the workers lined up along the cars behind barricades, pointing directions to others. The camera pans inside the vehicle where the butterfly doors are open, showing a large screen, no steering wheel, and dark leather seats.
Ooh, I was wondering what it looked like inside. Do the Robotaxis have that same kind of roof windshield merger there?
Yes, I would say the windshield is quite large. There are some little kids approaching it. It doesn't go as far back onto the roof, and there is no back windshield. So the only windows are on the doors and the front. During the video, it showed quite a bit of information. The first video had the text of "Today's transportation sucks," and it showed parking lots filled with thousands of cars, very dreary, smog, and then it panned into another video which was of the cars. It showed people enjoying their life, just being able to work in the car, do other tasks other than focus on driving, such as children using that touchscreen panel to do homework, someone in a Zoom meeting with 5 other people on the screen, someone with their dog in the car. Then it panned. One of the other videos was of the Optimus robots, where it showed them watering plants as a family enjoyed time together, participating in game night, playing, I'm unsure what table game it was, but playing games with the family, as well as getting groceries out of the car as the human is preparing dinner inside. It's panning out over the audience and over the studios. Where you can see the facades of a lot of the buildings that are used in different movies. You can see the line of the cars with those butterfly doors open, people circling them to take pictures. Another car pulls in. The brake light is similar to the headlights, where it spans the full length of the back of the car in a single line.
Wow.
The robots are now tending bar. It looks like they are maybe like some beer on tap, and they're filling up some cups. Also looks like they might be wearing some sort of fedora and an apron. They're also wearing a button-down shirt.
Awesome. I wondered if they were going to, put clothes on them or somehow differentiate them. Do they actually have faces?
Now, their face is a complete black screen. There is a little bit of a white trim that is lit up, but not any feature. So it's a flat surface. And I didn't see any lights that look like eyes or anything like that yet.
See, that's officially creepy. I'm sorry, but very cool, but I need a face.
And it's panning over a car where you can see a group just all around it. It's back to the bartender. People are just picking up their cups. Very well dressed.
I can only imagine.
Now it raised its hand and it's waving. I'm unsure if it's to the people or the camera. An actual human approaches and looks like it's speaking. The robot is turning, the human's waving back to it, looking directly at it, and it's speaking to the robot. No audio to see if the robot's actually responding at the moment, but it gestures its head in a nod. Now it's panning over the Robovan, where it has a solid roof. On each side of the solid roof, in a strip from front to back, are the windows.
Ooh.
Back to the robot, where someone is holding up 2 fingers, showing 2 drinks, and the robot does 2 fingers back, and then instead of the normal 2, it raises its index finger and pinky, almost like horns, and then it waves back to the person who asked for 2 drinks. Back to the Robotaxi. People just taking pictures in front of it. It does have quite a large trunk space, according to the videos that were shown. Panning out, and again, you see that Robovan and the taxi facing each other in front of the stage. I'd say about 25 feet apart. There's a robot just grooving by himself, dancing, raising the roof slightly. Lights go off and all you see is that white trim around its face. Almost as best described as one of those thin beards that goes down the sides of the jaw under the chin.
Oh.
Back over to the Robovan, where it has a large sliding door. It looks glass. There are windows on left and right side. Let's see as it pans down. No windows down the back side except the strips that continue across the roof down the back sides. So in the center, no window, but inside the Robovan, it showed screens on both the front and back, which faces the chairs. Someone taking a selfie with one of the Robovans. It did a hand gesture, almost like bunny ears. It's slightly dancing a little bit behind the bars. It's waiting for other people to come get some drinks and interact with it. Back to those screens that were in the car, the van showed a row of seats, 4 seats in the back, and then I believe 3 seats in front of it on each side. Behind each seat was behind the seats facing each other were television screens. So if you were sitting on one side of the Robovan, looking forward, you were see a screen, and if you were sitting on the other side of the Robovan, looking forward, you'd see another screen.
Oh, wow.
It's just panning over the Robotaxi. Just lots of people walking around it.
Definitely could have used that Robovan on vacation this year.
Speaking of vacation, in one of the videos, it showed someone preparing and packing their luggage. On their phone, it showed the Robotaxi was 3 minutes away. And then it pulled up, they loaded their luggage, and off they were.
Cool.
Back to the bartender. And now back panning over the crowd. Everyone is wearing lanyards. The lanyards light up green, so it really stands out against the darkness.
There's our next convention giveaway.
You see a hand, not attached to anything. I'm trying to see what it's sitting on. It's doing the hang loose symbol and just kind of almost as if it's trying to sign. It's moving its fingers all independently, but it was only a wrist up of a hand. No body connected to it. Panning back over the crowd. A Tesla drives in. It's one of their standard models with the 4 doors, the steering wheel, and the screen. Then a black model drives in. Again, another 4-door with that white interior, that bit of a larger windshield. And now it just looks like they're bringing in most of their models. Pans back to the Robovan. The backlights of the Robovan, which would be the brake lights, are 5 stripes going from left to right on the back, slightly spaced out. Another Robotaxi is driving in the background, passing the group, just driving the streets of the Warner Brothers Studios lots. As it drives by, it almost looks cartoonish. You can see inside the window where you can see the large display lit up. One of the Robotaxis is stopped in the middle of the road with its hazards on. The Robotaxis behind it went around it, avoiding any sort of collision. They're moving at a little bit of a slower pace. That one with the emergency flashers or those hazards on turned it off and then continued on its way. Now there is another robot still in that cowboy hat, buttoned down in an apron, giving out little goodie bags. Looks like little sweet treats. Other people taking selfies with them as the Optimus humanoid robot is waving. It's pointing out the crowd. And it put its fingers in the shape of what looks like a heart, drawing an air heart. Now it's doing a peace symbol back to the Optimus that's giving out the little goodie bags. It's waving to the crowd as they wait.
Oh, come on, I want to see the Vulcan sign. Come on.
Now that hand that was doing was only from the wrist up, did look like it was trying to do the Vulcan sign, so splitting the index and middle finger away from the ring and the pinky. Now one of the robots is playing rock, paper, scissors. I believe it lost, and it's shaking its head in disbelief that it lost, looking down at its hands like, what just happened? And now someone's offering a fist bump. I don't think the robot caught on to that, as it did not fist bump the person back. Back to the goodie bag. From best I can tell, they're macarons. Looks like a set of 3 in a clear, transparent bag with a black bow tied on the handle. It's giving the thumbs up to the crowd. Looks like it's gesturing to, do you want one of these? As it picks up a bag and hands it to the person that is requesting it. Now there are a large group, so it's pointing out individual people, giving it a thumbs up, and then handing that person that was speaking to it the bag.
This is way too much fun, and I know I want that bag.
It's dancing a little bit. It's looking at its hands almost in disbelief, and then goes back to a couple little dance moves. Oh, and it's doing, best I can tell, the Macarena.
Oh.
You see all the spotlights moving back and forth over the crowd. Quite a large turnout. As the crowd is wandering through with the robots, you see all the taxis just circling the lot. Not only are the people gesturing to the robot, but when they catch a glimpse of the camera, they wave at it and smile as well. Another person's doing rock, paper, scissors with a different robot, and this time the robot won. This person pointed to a specific bag on the table, which the robot got and gave back to them. Gives a thumbs up to the person, handing them a bag of sweet treats. Everyone's face is looking in amazement. Now it's back to that line of robo-cars, robo-taxis, some with their hazards on, but as they pull out, they turn their hazards off and their left blinker on and pull out into the road, bypassing the ones that are either stopped or have their hazards on. Someone brought in another tray of goodies as that goodie table is getting low on supplies. They're placing it down and robot's ready to serve. Camera pan very fast to see the Warner Brothers water tower and then back to the robot. It looks like there is an employee letting them know they need to stand behind a certain line when asking, as he keeps gesturing towards a line on the ground. And it pans back to the street where the crowd is getting larger, looking at the Robovan and the Robotaxi. People are getting in and out to inspect the interior. Looks like just maybe one person at a time. Hands from the Robovan back to the Robotaxi, back to the goodie bar. He waves at the crowd and starts handing out those treats again.
Does it look like there's a fair amount of room in that Robotaxi?
It does look like a fair amount of room.
Hello, everyone. Midwest is currently prioritizing VIP rides. GA guests, please make your way to our other amazing zones to board your Robotaxi experience.
It's quite tall, so I believe you could be standing upright in it without touching the roof.
Oh, wow.
Looks like plenty of legroom, especially in the direct seats that are facing each other. So as you walk in, there are seats on your left and seats on your right that face each other. Then there's a row behind that. The row behind that, it's kind of like a standard back seat where all the seats are connected. The row in front of it are more individualized seats.
Oh.
There is a good space between, so I don't think you're going to have any issue with legroom with the people that you're facing.
Well, any of us who have tried to get more than one guide dog into a taxi or an Uber or a Lyft, yeah, you know what I'm thinking.
Now, I could be mistaken, but on part of the video where there was someone riding with a small dog, it looked like the dog was clipped to the seat somehow. I'm unsure if that's something in the model, but you can see their leash clipped to the chair.
Oh.
Going through the seats, you just see some empty seats as everyone's on their feet at the moment, wearing those green lanyards. Cameras going through the crowd, just looking at everybody as everyone looks at all the new releases. Scattered throughout the crowd are those humanoid robots just intermingling with actual humans.
Wow.
And then it just goes back, panning back and forth over the Robovan and the taxi, almost as if it were a drone flying over the crowd.
Oh, I bet it is. I bet so.
Almost everyone who's approaching the robot has their camera at face level, snapping at videos or selfies. Goes back to show all Tesla models driving through the streets. The first two are the Robotaxis.
Now, I think you mentioned earlier that one of the cars that Elon Musk came in had the kind of big hubcaps so that it made the wheels look like discs. Do these Robotaxis have that?
Yes, it does. So all the Robotaxis,
Cool.
instead of a standard rim, which almost kind of has a star formation with circular with little spokes going out towards a circle, this one has almost like a hubcap that completely covers even the wheel, a portion of the wheel itself. So it almost looks like it's floating.
Cool.
So you can barely tell, because it's one flat solid surface, you can barely tell that the wheel is spinning as you would on a normal hubcap or a normal rim.
Oh, now that's fascinating. That would be really interesting to see, just moving along.
Absolutely. Now, it looks like as a standard Tesla drives by, it has standard rims, so you can tell when the car itself is moving.
Gotcha.
Back to handing out goodies. Now, from the best I can tell with the Robotaxis is I can only see 2 seats in it. At this moment, I can't see if there's a back seat. There are only 2 doors, so I imagine if there was a back seat, you'd have to climb through it. I did see again, a large trunk, 2 front seats. During a portion of the video, they had these automated cleaning machines that came in, vacuumed out the car, left the monitor on the inside, cleaning everything up.
Nice. And just to let everyone know, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sydney.
You're all good. Now that headlight does seem to illuminate quite a bit, and when Elon got out of it, it was almost pulsing.
Oh, wow. The last headlights I was able to see were the really old ones that were 2 basically big bulbs in there and just lit the road horribly at night. So I can't even imagine like LED headlights. It blows my mind. And for all of you who have stuck with us, we appreciate it so much. You will be able to hear this event. I should have it up tomorrow, and we will put it in the app so that you can listen again and hear some of this amazing and fun stuff. I feel like I'm at the party, actually, Sydney. This is way too much fun.
Now it seems like the vibes of the party are quite nice. Everyone's got big smiles on their faces. Super excited for all the releases. I think most people are gravitating towards the humanoids, although there are large groups around the Robotaxi and the Robovin. Just see those cars, both taxis and Teslas, normal models, at intersections making left-hand turns. Even though there are people walking around, it looks like they're able to stop. Some of the sidewalks are barricaded, so people are staying mostly on the sidewalks, but some of the areas are people just walking freely in the streets. Cars are stopped. Some cars have hazard lights on. Some are moving around obstacles. And back to handing out more goodies. Coming up to a stop sign at one of the intersections. While one is making a right-hand turn, the other one makes another right-hand turn at that intersection. Down an empty street. One of the facades is like a theater with a display out front of what would be showing. It's going, looks like it might be back at the gazebo where the shades have lifted. It's still dark inside, but as the spotlights hit the gazebo, you can still make out those humanoids inside. You can, okay, and there they're back to dancing, just a little bit darker in the gazebo at this point. Lights are coming on and flashing. Now the inner portion of the gazebo is lit up, and there goes that disco ball spinning on the ceiling. You can see the reflections of light as it turns inside the gazebo. They do look to be doing a synchronized dance, as all have the same movements, but no longer robot movements, more fluid movements. Shades are lowering once more in the gazebo. Now, at this point, none of the cars that I have seen pass are carrying any passengers. They're just driving by themselves. Back to the gazebo. The marquee outside of the theater, that's one of the facades of the event, says now playing We Robot. The movements and the look of the car are so fluid, they almost look like an animation on screen. And that Robovin has almost a look of almost like the bullet trains, where it has a slightly sloped front and more of a square back. Now it's showing a line of different Tesla models. This looks like more of a standard model, something that's on the market already. And now you see someone trying to dent a Cybertruck with a large mallet. When they hit it, the lights go off. Almost looks like an alarm. The interior lights up. Looks like people are lining up to beat the car with a sledgehammer. No dents on the door, though. Now they're having people sit in the Robotaxi. It looks quite spacious. Again, there's no pedals on it, no steering wheel. Only thing there is the 2 seats with that center console with that large display. Overhead shots of the cars driving through the lot. Slowing down at a pedestrian crossing and stopping at the stop sign, making a left turn. It's picking up some glasses of ice, taking it to that tap, pulling the tap, just lining it up first. Almost missed the first time, but readjusted so that it's going inside the drink, nothing spilled. Pulling the tap and filling it up. Unsure of what's on tap at the moment. Looks like a darker liquid, not too many bubbles.
And once again, we appreciate everyone joining us tonight. We are probably going to jump off around 10 till, somewhere in there just before midnight here on the East Coast. But we're enjoying all of the scenes from the party and the descriptions from our visual interpreter, Sydney. Thank you so much, Sydney. This has been really fun.
My pleasure. The stage is lit up. It has those lights that were on the pre-show wait. It looks like it's showing a standard model Tesla, completely empty at the moment, but it's that 4-door blue Tesla. Someone walking down the street. Now it's showing some people in the Robotaxis taking a drive as people film alongside. They're standing in front of a facade that shows Chinese food. Those butterfly doors open, they unbuckle and step out. Back to serving some drinks. It also looks like there are lights along the door frames. So the bottom of the door frames on both passenger and what look like driver side. Those butterfly doors open quite a bit, leaving quite a large entryway to get into the car. In the video of the demonstration of the Robotaxi, it showed a child crossing the street in the middle, driving or riding a scooter, and the car avoided collision. Someone in a bicycle cutting off the car stopped to avoid collision. Traffic that crossed over the barrier, almost causing a head-on collision. Car was able to stop in time, pulled over for an emergency vehicle. Some people inside the car checking it out.
Now, I did want to get kind of a description of these butterfly doors compared to a regular car door, because I think I know what they're kind of like, but could you explain that?
Of course. So instead of opening outwards, these ones open up and then outwards. So they would be almost, as you're standing next to it, it would be up in the air towards the windshield of the car.
Ooh.
Almost as if the car had wings that just unfurled from its back.
Oh, wow. I'm just thinking about getting in with a door like that.
Now, it might, I do know a lot of people use sometimes the car doors for mobility and able to pull themselves up and out of a car. This one, that you would have to reach your hand up in order to reach the door. The doors do look like they open and close automatically by themselves.
Ooh.
The car, I wouldn't say it's too low to the ground, nothing lower than a standard car.
Very good to know. Wow. Well, folks, we have had a wonderful time bringing you the We Robot 1010 Los Angeles event this evening with visual interpreting from Ira. I want to thank Sydney, our visual interpreter, and I want to have a special thanks here for Connie Ellis, who is one of our explorers, one of our Ira customers, who suggested that we cover this event tonight. Hope you've had a great time. Hey, Connie! Hello there. All right, everyone, have a wonderful evening and stay safe and get excited about the future. Thank you all.